Hey ghouls, I'm the terrible magician, but you can call me Terry for short. Stow away your eye coffins and pay attention, because it's time for your lesson about the Monster High Mausoleum Controversy. Unless you're watching this on your eye coffin. That's the only exception. I have always loved Monster High, so I recently joined the subreddit. I was scrolling through my feed when I saw an interesting lurking post by user Data Discolor. The main post has since been taken down. Wait a minute, it's back? That kind of renders the latest section obsolete. Oh well, I'll still include it. The Reddit post discussed whether it was appropriate for an Instagram account called Monster High Confessions to post a confessor's video of a child's mausoleum. Obviously, I had to check it out to judge for myself. I never even heard of this account, even though it's one of the most popular Monster High fan pages on Insta. 60k followers. Damn. By the time I looked at the post, the video had been taken down, but the post itself remained. Maple, the person who runs the account, leaves an edit to explain why. Although the comments under the Instagram post were all positive, Maple was made aware of the post on Reddit. In short, they explain, "I'm so sorry this post caused so much discomfort. I don't wish to make people uncomfortable. The confessor is Mexican and lives in Mexico, where they do not view death in the same way as you might." Despite the positive comments, the comments under the Mausoleum post are limited. The Reddit comment section is also locked, but is pretty divided. Back when the post was deleted, I asked the OP why the post was removed by the moderators, but they replied that they were not given a reason. What exactly inspired so much controversy, at least on Reddit's part? There are two causes of this controversy. Let's discuss the lesser controversy first. The confessor describes a Skelita doll as appropriate for a grave. This brings up a discussion of cultural insensitivity. If you did not know, Skelita Calaveras, first featured in the movie Scares, City of Frights, is based on the Mexican holiday Dia de Muertos, or Day of the Dead. This is made even more explicit with her specific doll release for the holiday. Some said that it isn't insensitive, citing the same reason as Mabel earlier. Mexicans view death differently. I will say, the opposition of the Skelita comment haven't really made any convincing arguments, except that it just feels wrong. One commenter says, "Nothing is appropriate about a child dying," even though that comment feels off topic.
Definitely not watching the video of you.
The biggest source of this controversy is the video, which, as a reminder, was taken down by Maple. Just to be clear, even if it had been posted elsewhere, I wouldn't have shown it in this video. Because of that, I have to rely on Maple's description of the video, which they included in the description of the post. It is a small mausoleum with piñatas, painted walls, and Monster High dolls displayed through a glass panel. There are two reasons the video might have upset people. Firstly, there's a lack of consent from the family of the deceased girl. One thing I had worried about was that the video accidentally exposed identifying information, but according to several users, the name was not visible. The OP of the Reddit post says that it would have been different if it were the family who posted this video, but the fact that it was a complete stranger puts them off. I can't help but agree. Others argue that consent wasn't required since the mausoleum is in a public space. They continue that by sharing the video, the girl's life is being honored. Once again, this brings up an interesting case of differing cultures clashing. While Mexico's overall death culture is different, there can be various faiths and traditions inside a singular country. 16% of the Mexican population does not practice Dia de Muertos, which may not scream like a lot, but totals roughly to 20,965,730 non-practicing citizens, according to my calculations. The second reason is that posting a video of her gravesite can be seen as exploiting a dead child for content. One Redditor likened it to Logan Paul's infamous video, which is wildly out of left field and not at all comparable. The video could also be seen as celebrating a life. Maple, their comment section, and a few Redditors would think so. I can also see why people would think of it this way, especially since the girl was Mexican. However, I do not think the video was necessary in order to honor her life. Just the text would have done, and most of the comment section agrees with this sentiment. A minor detail Redditors found weird was that the confessor screamed more focused on the dolls than the actual girl. This will make sense because it is a Monster High page, but would undermine the argument that it is about honoring the life of this child. People also say they don't know why Maple would post a child's mausoleum when their account usually doesn't get so dark. Maple agrees with this sentiment in their edit. We've discussed the main controversies associated with this particular post of Monster High Confessions, but it screams the main lead behind the account has been involved in other controversies as well.
Need for leads. Give me the gossip, gossip, gossip. Ooh, got a scoop.
Let me properly introduce the person behind the fan page. According to the bio of their page, Maple is an autistic, queer, 21-year-old who goes by they/he pronouns. I was able to find out more about them through a discussion post on Reddit, which was very interesting. Let's talk about the slur allegations, because it was the first thing to jump out at me. According to user NoHoney9588, Maple claimed that saying slurs is okay, as long as it's not intended to harm others. I couldn't find any evidence and had to ask the commenter for a source. Unfortunately, they didn't reply, but I managed to find Maple addressing the comment in the Venus Racism highlighted story. This will turn out to be a scary, valuable source of information for this section of the video. Maple says they don't hold that view currently, but they might have in the past due to indoctrination. According to Maple himself, they also used to post bigoted confessions to the page before they unlearned many behaviors. It is great that Maple has managed to escape that situation and unlearn those behaviors, but is it possible that he might have overcorrected? According to multiple Redditors, they were blocked by Maple after submitting opinions that disagreed with Maple's own. They screamed like relatively harmless confessions, but remember, there are 3 sides to every story, and it's not like I can verify whether that was the opinion they actually submitted. In Maple's stories and in comments, he has attacked doll customizers who rerouted Gen 3 Venus's hair. Gen 3 Venus was introduced in 2024, and this is the first Monster High doll to have textured hair. Maple was not happy that people were replacing her lock twist with straight hair, like her Gen 1 version. People even called one such customizer a white supremacist and a racist, despite the customizer having multiple Venuses that still had their twist. Several Redditors tried defending the reroutes in Instagram comments, and they were blocked. This appears to be proven by Maple in a rant post they made. In that rant post, they say that by posting on Reddit, the people they blocked were, quote, removing their agency. Maple believes that the people who don't view Venus's reroute as a negative thing are racist. I will say, some of the comments he posted in his pinned story, Venus Racism, are pretty vile, but on first glance, some of the comments scream like they're just congratulating the customizer on a good job, rather than not liking the textured hair. Yet according to Maple, people shouldn't be able to do whatever they want with their dolls. Here's my take. I do love the representation Venus's new hair provides, but once people buy them, they can do whatever they want with them. I can't stop people who buy lovely, unique homes just to gut them into basic, ugly shells, no matter how much I want to. Rest in peace, beautiful staircase. But anyways, I found a good Reddit discussion post about the ethics of rerouting Venus's hair. It seems that most people agree that rerouting her hair doesn't erase her black coating, and it's not a problem unless there is racist intent behind it. But as I'll talk about it more later, once you post something on the internet, you are opening it up to criticism. Also, at first glance, I don't think the rerouters included had intended to be racist. I think the reroute plus blue eyes combo for one of the reroutes is probably just nostalgia for Gen 1. For the record, I don't hate Gen 3. I actually prefer Twyla, Caddy, and Venus more than their original counterparts, though for the most part I prefer the originals. I know Maple gets pretty pressed when people prefer Gen 1 better, so I just wanted to make that known. Now that we're talking about the Venus reroutes, let's talk about a specific one Maple called out, called Rochelle Goyle Stan. We'll call her RGS for short.
Rochelle Goyle, a little bit shy but styled to die. Everybody loves this Goyle.
RGS started in 2020 and has almost 17k followers. RGS hardly has any documentation of the incident, so I have to rely mostly on Maple's Venus Racism story. In it, Maple features a story of RGS's response to the harassment, and Maple is appalled. They claim that they left angry comments, but it wasn't harassment. Okay, this is ironic because Maple claims that all negative comments on their Instagram page are harassment. They also claim that the customizer is hiding in the comments, despite policing their comments incessantly for any diverging opinion. RGS even explained that they would have given Venus curls, but they wouldn't hold, so I honestly don't know why Maple is acting like this. At this point of the story at least, things get a lot more unhinged from here. RGS said they have an uncustomized version of Venus with her braids intact, which is proven by their post of both the uncustomized and customized Venus. They also plan to reroute a Gen 1 Venus with braids, but there is nothing of the sort posted as of yet, so keep that in mind. All of the comments on her reroute repost are positive and not racist, except for one questionable comment. But she might have pulled a Maple and deleted all opposing comments. In the same story, Maple shows what Venus's reroutes should look like, and it includes straight hair, which makes me even more confused. Why are those straight-haired dolls okay but not others? It makes Maple scream hypocritical. It's good that particular creator is not allowing racism in the comments, but it's difficult to understand what Maple deems as racist because they dig into the more innocuous comments. Someone else, insinuated to be RGS but unconfirmed, actually caught this inconsistency and called Maple out for it. He replied, though it doesn't really make sense. Is straightening Venus's hair respectfully accomplished by showing her side by side with a Venus of ethnic hair? because that's exactly what RGS did, and they received racist allegations from Maple for it. Maple backtracked and said they had no problem with RGS until the account made a bad response. Yet the comment Maple chooses to show screams pretty civil. Next, RGS accuses Maple of getting his followers to send death threats and dox RGS, which Maple vehemently denies. It would be out of character, especially after I've seen a post where Maple tells people not to attack the OPs. RGS claims they have proof, but never shows it, and I can't find it anywhere on their account, so it wasn't a mission on Maple's part. Maple also claims they want to have a conversation with RGS, but once again, won't let any conversation happen in their own comment section. Also in the same post, Maple shows evidence that RGS photoshopped their DMs. The edited DMs make it look like Maple was saying, "I hope you never wake up again." For a supposed death threat, this honestly doesn't appear scary intense. The proof of RGS photoshopping the evidence is pretty convincing, I must admit. So after coming through all the evidence, in this instance, I believe in Maple's side of the story, though I do think they overreacted initially, and their actions scream contradictory. Granted, since RGS's original post had been taken down, and their story is long expired, I cannot verify whether the comment section was full of racism, as Maple claims, so take that with a grain of salt. We finally found our way back to the original Reddit post, because Maple posted a response. Maple says that they are emotionally attached to the characters because he's autistic, and that they will block any comment that makes them feel uncomfortable. Another autistic individual said that autism isn't an excuse, and Maple needs a break from social media if it bothers them that much. That person was consequently blocked. To be honest, I can't really see how that is insanely rude and disrespectful, as Maple calls it. Autism may explain actions, but they don't excuse them. I can agree with Maple's next point in the response, though. I am dealing with a similar situation, where my little sister is being influenced by her homophobic grandparents and her classmates. Introducing children to LGBTQ+ ideals should be as normalized as hetero ideals, and I am working on trying to help my sister not end up as a bigot. This is the post I talked about earlier, where Maple tells her followers to not go after the future commenters. After addressing the specific Reddit comments, Maple makes a more blanket statement, saying that all comments that are bigoted, are stressful, or hurt their feelings will be blocked. He says that viewing their account is not a human right. Alright, here's the thing. When you post things on the internet, it goes out of your control. You can't control what people say about your post. Of course no one can tell you how to run your account, but I don't think anyone is actually doing that. When you say no one has a right to view your content, then why post it in the first place? Just because people hurt your feelings doesn't mean they disrespect you as a human being. When people hold me accountable, it hurts my feelings that I unintentionally hurt them, but it is something that needs to happen for things to change for the better. And now, here's my opinion of how Maple handles negative or opposing comments. If you're watching this, Maple, you don't have to listen to me. I'm just a yapper, and these are my opinions. I do not think blocking people and deleting comments is the best way to deal with those comments, especially since you claim to be a discussion board. If it is too much for you to handle, then you could always private your accounts. If you don't want to do that, then maybe just don't lurk at the comment section, or have someone else pick the positive ones to lurk at. This would allow for discussion to happen without affecting your mental health. Because at this rate, by removing all possibilities of discussion on your page, you're creating more of an echo chamber than anything else. Another option that would entirely eliminate discussion would be disabling the comments. These options are for opposing comments, but there's an obvious difference if someone is spouting flat-out destructive things. Of course, you and any viewer can comment whatever you want in my comment section. It's on for a reason, as long as it's not hateful. For Maple, and anyone else who struggles with negative comments, I'll include links in the description about how to handle negative comments. And if those things aren't viable for you, then there might be a chance you have rejection-sensitive dysphoria. Keep in mind, I am no psychologist. I only heard about this briefly in a class. Basically, RSD causes intense emotional pain when it comes to rejection. It is not an official diagnosis yet, and there isn't a lot of research, but it most often occurs in people with ADHD. I do not mean to be smug or belittling, by the way. You're still young, older than me, but still young, and you started this account when you were around 17. You're also a singular person running a big account. It's understandable that you haven't developed the strategy that bigger accounts or older people have when dealing with negative comments. Now you see me, now you don't. This is the end of the video. Throughout this video, I try to be as objective as possible, lurking at both sides, scouring for sources, agreeing and disagreeing with both sides. Since we talked about a lot of different topics today, I'll quickly summarize the main point of the video. The mausoleum situation is nuanced and should be treated as such. From my American point of view, the video screamed insensitive, but I want to foster conversation in the comments. I do not think Maple is a bad person, though I do think their approach to non-hateful, opposing views could stand to improve. I am curious to see what you guys think of this whole situation. Remember to make your own opinions and do your own research if needed. All the links I used will be in the description. Before I end this video, I would like to say, rest in peace, little one. I wish you and your family the best.